A few days ago, I talked about the basics of Roth IRA. As I promised, today I'm going to delve a little bit deeper into a little bit more advanced and fun stuff. So I'm going to share my top 5 Roth IRA pro tips. So pro tip number 1, as I mentioned in the previous video, you can pull Roth IRA money out without paying any taxes or penalties when you turn 59 and a half. So in fact, the pro tip, there are more ways to pull money out tax and penalty free. So qualified distribution allows for that. Qualified distribution. So let's just do a quick review of a tax term, distribution. So distribution simply means money being pulled out or withdrawn. So back to the qualified distribution. So qualified distribution means tax and penalty free. So what makes a distribution a qualified distribution? You have to meet 2 requirements. The first one is easy. So your oldest Roth account has to be at least 5 years old when you pull money out of your Roth IRA. So that's why you hear people say, hey, open your Roth as early as possible. The second requirement can be met by one of 4 ways. 1, you turn 59 and a half, which you probably already knew. And second, being disabled. Third, being deceased, not a good option. Fourth one, pulling up to $10,000 for first-time home purchase during your lifetime. So using the 4th way, you can actually pull up to $10,000 out of your Roth IRA to buy a house and tax and penalty free, as long as your oldest Roth account is at least 5 years old. So the point I'm trying to make is that you don't have to be 59 and a half to be able to pull money out tax and penalty free. There are other ways. So pro tip number 2, even if you pull money out without meeting those 2 requirements, you can still withdraw funds without paying taxes or penalties. So because there's a tax rule that allows you to pull your after-tax money that you've contributed first before pulling out the earnings. And when you do that, the money that you pull out, which represents after-tax money that you contributed, is not subject to tax or penalty. So let me give you an example. So say that you've contributed a total of 20 grand of your after-tax money to your Roth over time, and the balance is now 50,000. So you put in 20,000, now it's 50,000. So if you pull $20,000 out, that tax rule will let you withdraw your after-tax contribution first, which is 20 grand. So you won't have to pay taxes or penalties on that 20,000. However, if you pull out the remaining $30,000, which represents earning, you will have to pay tax and a 10% penalty on that earnings. But the good news is that in certain situations, that 10% penalty can be waived. If you pull money out for your kids' higher education, or to pay for your deductible medical expenses, or to pay for health insurance premium during unemployment, then the 10% penalty can be waived. So pro tip number 3, pros understand the mechanism and possible issues. So I want to talk about how backdoor Roth works and potential issues related to it. So regarding backdoor Roth process. So first step to doing a backdoor Roth is contributing after-tax money to a traditional IRA, which is allowed regardless of your income. You can be making $500,000, you can still contribute to traditional IRA. Then the second step is to direct your IRA custodian like Fidelity to pull your after-tax money from traditional IRA and roll it over to your Roth IRA account. So this is a process called rollover. This rollover process does not incur any taxes since you already pay taxes on that money that you contributed to traditional IRA, which is after-tax money. And this rollover will take about a week because your IRA custodian, like Fidelity, will take about 4 to 5 days to process the initial deposit and contribution. And after that, they process it, your request to roll over will take place. So let's talk about potential backdoor Roth issue. The backdoor Roth can create a messy situation. So if you contributed pre-tax money to your traditional IRA during your residency time, and now you try to do a backdoor Roth as an attending by contributing after-tax money to your traditional IRA, then there's going to be some pre-tax money from your residency as well as post-tax money that you just contributed sitting in the same traditional IRA. So in this situation, a specific rule called cream in the coffee rule has to be applied to determine how much of the pre-tax money and how much of the post-tax money in the traditional IRA account can be rolled over to your Roth IRA. There'll be tax consequences as well. So I'll talk about this cream in the coffee rule in another episode. So pro tip number 4. So if you have pre-tax money in your traditional IRA account, like the situation I mentioned, then you can do straight up Roth conversion to feed your Roth account. So you can do this anytime for any reason, but the conversion will be taxable event. So if you have 30 grand sitting in your traditional IRA from your residency years, all pre-tax, and you decide to roll it over to your Roth IRA, then your taxable income will be increased by $30,000 because you had pre-tax money of $30,000, which you're converting to post-tax, after-tax money. So if your federal tax rate is 37%, you will pay about 10 grand in additional federal income tax. 37% times $30,000 of income. So you would want to do this when your tax rate is relatively low, such as during your sabbatical year. Pro tip number 5. You don't have to invest your Roth IRA money in a typical mutual funds or in any particular stocks like Tesla. You can invest that money in essentially anything. Peter Thiel, a co-founder of PayPal, he invested his Roth IRA money in startups. It's crazy. His Roth account grew to approximately $5 billion in valuation. So you can be like Peter by investing wisely with your Roth IRA money. So hope these 5 pro tips were therapeutic. Hope to see you guys next time.